Okay, so this is for all your YouTubers out there that want to add a subscribe animation. I know that I needed one. I went out there on the internet and looked for kind of like stock options, and without paying a bunch of money, the ones that I was finding weren't very good. They were like 720p. Normally I shoot in 1080p, but you know, it'd be nice to have some 4K assets. So what I did is I went through the process in Davinci Resolve of actually creating in Fusion a few variations of the subscribe animation. Main thing I wanted to do was show the subscribe button being clicked and then a little hand going over and clicking on the notification bell icon, because I feel that a lot of people will hit subscribe, but because of the YouTube algorithm, they're not getting all of our videos that we post, even though they have subscribed, unless they've clicked that bell icon. So anyway, these are absolutely free to use. You can use them in Davinci Resolve or any editing program because they are just video assets. They're all 4K. And rather than use green screen, I've used a blue screen. I find that blue is just a little more forgiving. There'll be a link in the description to download the full version of these files. I have both the 24 frames per second and 30 frames per second versions of these files. There's 18 of them. So let's go over to the computer and I'll show you a couple examples. Okay, so I'm going to show you in Davinci Resolve here, but these concepts will translate to any editing system. Just make sure that your project or your timeline is set to the desired frames per second. So in this case with Davinci Resolve, at the bottom right corner, we click these project settings. We just make sure that this is the frame rate that you want. So I want mine to be 24 frames per second, so that's good. So let's pull in the assets. Once you've downloaded the link in the description, you will choose the folder that's appropriate to your timeline, whether it's 24 or 30 frames per second. Now, if your timeline is 60 frames per second, just use the 30 frame per second files and they should work perfect. This is motion graphics. It'll translate pretty well. Anyway, so I'm shooting in 24. Let me pull that in, my footage. And now I've got all of that there. Let's go over to an edit. So say this is my timeline and I want to just do that little call out reminder. So what I'll do is select one of these. So let's quickly take a look at the first one. This is the animation just on a black background. So that would be something that, let's say you would add, and I'm just going to grab just the video part of the clip here. There's no audio in this anyway, so you can add your own audio if you want something. So that would show up like this at the end of your video. I don't think I had to show you that. That's pretty straightforward. But anyway, just to get that out of the way. So now for the ones with the blue background, these are the ones that you want to key out so that you can do it transparent over something like this. So let's say I grab this and I'm going to put that over here. So in Davinci Resolve, I'll explain it here, but in your editing system, you're going to have to figure out how you get rid of green screens. Probably lots of YouTube videos on that for your particular editing system. So anyway, in Davinci Resolve, we select the clip, we go into color, and then we choose right here, this little eyedropper. We select that. Now we right click over here in this empty area and we click on Add Alpha Output. That puts this little dot here. And all we want to do is connect this to that. And now you see we've got it inverted. That's fine. We just come down here to selection range and there's an option to invert. Now you'll notice just the tiniest little bit of a line here. So there's a couple ways we can get rid of that. And that's with anything that you chroma key. So in the matte finesse, a lot of times cleaning up the black will do it. So if I do like 25, see even 25, maybe even 50 might do it. Just look at the whole animation, or 100 for that matter. That is one option. The other thing you can do in addition to that, or only this, is by adding something to the radius here. And that just kind of shrinks because it's mode shrink here, and it just shrinks this line in here to cover up anything that might have been there. So anyway, let's look at how that looks in the context of the video. So let's just show one of these ones without a border, a center low, no border. So let's try this guy out. So I'll do that over this ending portion of it. Same thing, we select the clip, we go into color, we grab the eyedropper tool, select the blue, right click over here, hit add alpha output. We connect these two together and then invert. Now let's see, because these ones, you can see a little hairline blue there. Let's go back to the clean black and start with, like, say 25, because it's smaller. So you can do it like that. You can also add this little radius clip here. So let's see what that looks like. Okay. One of the reasons why I gave you options with this showing up in the lower thirds is, if you like, you could also add a logo here, and let's just demonstrate how you would do that without actually having to go into Fusion and get into all that complicated thing. So graphics, I have my logo here. So if I brought my logo in, actually let's put it above that, make it the same size, and just scale this down. On the transform, just zoom it down. So let's say I wanted that, and then I just add a dissolve on either end, you know, kind of have it show up. Okay, now my, actually I think I made this slightly off center, just slightly. That was a mistake, but anyway, we can just modify this a little bit. And same thing, you could zoom this up and then move it left or right as well, if you want to play with the size. And the good thing is if you're editing in a 1080p timeline, remember this footage is originally 4K, so you've got lots of room to play with it there. So this, actually let me zoom in. I'm just going to create a little more of a fade in and a little more of a fade out. And let's look at that. See, all customized without you having to go into a Fusion composition and deal with all that. You can just drag and drop. And so on all your YouTube videos, you can just drag and drop these assets into the next project you're working on, and there you have it. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Please share this video if you know any other YouTubers or people that are talking about getting into doing YouTube. It's a great little asset to make sure that your subscribers are active subscribers, that they're actually hitting that notification bell and they are going to see your videos. So rather than just calling it out verbally, it's nice to have a visual thing that goes along with that. And that's it. So don't you forget to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss out on the next one. And thank you so much for watching.